Don't forget to click like and subscribe to the Heavy Underground. The power of the skull compels you. With the first of two planned releases for 2019 being released into the digital ether, Drone Legends Sunn O begin the year on a more contemplative note with the new album Life Metal. Recorded and mixed by legendary noise rock agitator Steve Albini, Life Metal was committed to analog tape at Albini's Electric Audio studio compound in Chicago, Illinois. Announcing a spring sojourn across the United States in support of this album, Pittsburgh was not listed in the initial tour announcement. However, a few additional dates would find the Carnegie Music Hall of Homestead soon added to the band's select list of dates. Joined by the one-man musical entity known as Papa M, brothers O'Malley and Anderson select April 27, 2019 to enshroud the city of Pittsburgh in copious amounts of smoke and wave after glorious wave of feedback-laced distortion. An array of musical implements and a monolithic wall of amplification await their human components on stage before the show begins as a steady stream of songs from the late troubadour Scott Walker plays through the venue's PA, offering a subtle yet omnipresent tribute to Sunn O's recently deceased collaborator. Nonchalantly taking the stage, the one-man band known as Papa M situates himself in the middle of the stage with a single chair, two guitars, and an array of effect pedals fanned out in front of him. Papa M's singular visionary is David Pajo. Pajo's early career was spent in the highly influential post-rock band Slint. Involvement in a number of other important bands would follow, including Tortoise, Stereolab, Interpol, and Zwan, amongst numerous others, diving in and out of hardcore, post-rock, indie, math rock, slowcore, and electronica over the past 35 years. David Pajo's widely varied career has presented many faces with his multifarious musical output, and one of the most frequent outlets over the past 2 decades for his muse has been Papa M. Occupying a small space in the middle of the stage, Papa M's David Pajo takes his seat. Illuminated by one single light bulb, the stark simplicity of Pajo's presence foretells an unadorned and rustic performance. Opening with a slowly phasing tone, Pajo soon layers some ruminative finger-picked passages over the omnipresent drone. Delicate guitar warbles forth with classical flair, occasionally being overtaken by the still bellowing drone. Sparse and hesitant, Brother Pajo's guitar provides a steady yet unsettled guide through the ever-present musical haze. After about 7 minutes, a programmed drum beat starts to emerge as Brother Pajo begins to transition the sound. A hint of deeper undertones percolate underneath as Pajo works a sly rhythmic hand with his guitar, evoking a slight echo of Hawkwind's deep space psychedelic swirl. Shifting into a slightly more reserved space, a systematic breakdown follows before the muffled shuffle from the drum machine re-emerges in the background as a morose guitar refrain from Brother Pajo is layered above the lumbering musical expanse. Pajo's lonesome guitar runs carry on the windswept aural breeze as the song drifts to a close. The drum machine slowly fades away as David Pajo continues to strum the strings on his guitar for a while longer before an abrupt end ushers in the final piece of Papa M's set. Opening the final part of his performance with a peaceful and serene guitar passage, David Pajo deftly and eloquently brings Papa M's short set to an end. An otherworldly, David Lynchian current carries the final moments of the show as a wistful and idyllic 5-minute sojourn closes out an evocative set from the unique musical mind of David Pajo. Loops and digital delays haunt Papa M's one-man musical expanse. As rhythm tracks rise and fall within the roiling tempest, David Pajo adorns the stark perpetual motion with sonic washes and his circling six-string simplicity. At certain moments, Papa M's drifting musical eloquence seems to provide a home for all of the interstitial interludes and transitory parts from Nine Inch Nails' The Downward Spiral. Plaintive and understated guitar runs cross wires with classically picked passages as the sands run low on Papa M's short but interesting performance. Crafting a stark and affecting set from such sparse accompaniment, David Pajo distills a 35-year career of understated rock excellence into a 24-minute sonic journey. Indulging my third opportunity to reflect at the shrine of Sunn O, April 27, 2019 finds the Drone Masters' musical haze shrouding the city of Pittsburgh once more. An appearance at the Carnegie Music Hall of Homestead provides a properly antiquated backdrop for the band's slowly moving musical tempest. Band maestros Stephen O'Malley and Greg Anderson are joined on their most recent touring endeavor by longtime collaborators Oren Embarki on additional guitar, TOS aka Toss Neuenheisen on keyboards, and Steve Moore on second keyboard and trombone. Without longtime vocalist Attila Sihar or the cello and voice of life metal collaborator Hildur Gudnadottir, Sunn O will let their crushing tectonic drone speak for itself with a full instrumental affront. Supporting their just-released life metal album, officially released the day before the show on April 26th, Sunn O bring their living, breathing drone atmospherics to Pittsburgh in celebration of this most recent slab of rumbling heaviness. As the crowd awaits the arrival of the drone lords themselves, a fusillade of fog machines begins to fill the space available within the hall with wave after wave of stage-shrouding smoke. When the lights finally go out minutes before the start of the performance, all you can hear is the sound of the fog machines running as the hooded members of Sunn O make their way to the stage unseen. A scattered clatter of noise heralds the onstage arrival of Sunn O. Soon, a building swarm of distorted warmth begins to roll from the fog-shrouded stage. Throughout the duration of the show, shifting hues of color, drawn from the luxuriant cover artwork of life metal, filter through this dense fog, casting an ethereal aura to the night's performance. Like a drone leviathan lumbering to life, what I believe to be Isengard crawls from the stage first. The song's droning sustain shifts with a growling bite as the band settles in for a harrowing night of suffocating heaviness. Around 12 minutes in, feedback-laced squalls begin to rise from the band's increasingly hostile sonic front. The distortion roars with increasing grit and determination as the haze lifts enough to make out a couple of hooded forms on the stage. An acerbic bite drips from one of the guitars as the band begin to roar in a slow and distorted unity. Subtly shifting, the hooded drone wizards soon transition the aural haze into hunting and gathering Cydonia. A disorienting feedback-led warble enters the mix as glacial riffs continue to slowly spill from the stage. A cycling refrain oozes to the surface as the band travel into murkier backwaters. Drawing together, the heady swirl of heaviness reaches for slow-motion singularity with crushing gravity. Pulsing slower and lower, Sunn O excavate to the Earth's core as the show presses on. Rolling at an unrushed pace, the band deploy a bruising drawdown that stretches the air with malicious strangulation. Carrying deeper into hunting and gathering's demise, omnipresent Moog steadies the way as a galactic strength surge powers through the speakers. Deep resonance shadows the band's performance as they steadily fill the room with a dense and voracious roar. Touring without a vocalist, the instrumental strength presented allows Sunn O to fully exploit the omnipresent swarm of the band's powerful drone. Up next, Sunn O touch on their latest slab of drone greatness with Life Metal's Nove. A rising tide of feedback gives way to a reverberating vacuum of heavyweight tone and distortion. Interstitial moments echo with contorted sound as the band's hooded presence periodically emerges from the dense fog shrouding the stage. Feedback, roar, repeat. Sunn O deftly maneuver the atavistic ether with their primal analog rumble. Cresting Moog resonance underlines a grime-encrusted distortion field from these brothers in drone. Drawing a fetid squall through the music hall's ornate confines, Sunn O unite as an acrid squeal unleashes into the night. Wave after wave of overpowering sounds slowly spill from the stage. A lone guitar briefly screams through the din before being subsumed by the tectonic induction all around. Shrieking guitar rises periodically over the following moments to conduct the sound to higher ground. Domineering bass appears below as squealing guitar peels away from the wall of drone with pointed intent before the instruments begin to pull apart. Dissembling from a dominant roar, overbearing bass, underlying synth, and paint-peeling guitar slowly disentangle in a steady rumbling passage. With a pensive restraint, the hooded drone merchants unfurl a sparsely populated crawl. With mysterious movements taking place in the ever-cresting fog, Papa M's David Pajo appears from the mist-shrouded backstage, and Steve Moore retrieves a horn instrument. Somber trombone from Brother Moore and a sickly guitar sweep from Brother Pajo soon float in and out of this ethereal expanse. Delicate tension from Pajo's jangling guitar laces in and out of Moore's morose trombone call, repeatedly drawing out the pressure before cresting with a passive effervescence. Ghostly maneuvers sweep from the haze-shrouded stage as the sound builds with a growing malevolence. Anytime the band is in danger of being fully visible, a sustained roll of fog is systematically unfurled to maintain minimal visibility. A disjointed tempest bellows forth with ambling destruction as David Pajo quietly disappears into the haze. Drawing together the disparate parts, Sunn O slowly coalesce together with unified distortion. Focusing their power, our resident drone specialists roar into Life Metal's Aurora. Feedback bounds into the night before flattening the air with a crushing surge. Pouring molten distortion through the speakers, brothers Anderson, O'Malley, and Embarkey pulverize the fog-shrouded atmosphere with a dense glacier of 4- and 6-string dominance. Ascending deeper and deeper, the sound attains a regal atonality, with low-key synth elevating the brutal seismic advance before devolving into a crushing maelstrom of distortion, feedback, and noise to end the main set. Opening the encore with a billowing organ and synth-driven climb, the sound cuts out after 2.5 minutes, leaving only the voracious hum of the band's backline of amplifiers to penetrate the still dense fog. Papa M's David Pajo has once again slipped unseen to the far right of the stage to deploy a complement of clean-toned guitar misanthropy over the band's simmering drone. A restrained growl emanates from the assembled instruments of the hooded ones as Pajo's guitar accompaniment takes a dark and disjointed turn. Echoes of Floydian psychedelia twist in the wind as Sunn O warps the ensuing sound into a gloriously unsettled din of disassociating drone. A subterranean roar occasionally emerges from beneath the slow-moving system as the band nears the end of the show. A lengthy step down finds the band's omnipresent roar unreeling into the celestial distance as Sunn O brings a close to the night's expansive drone expedition. Once shadowy forms glimpsed in slow-motion roar from within the fog-shrouded depths soon give way to hooded humanoids moving about the stage. Slowly the band emerges from the haze to greet the crowd as brothers O'Malley, Anderson, Embarkey, Moore, and Neuenhuizen, along with Brother Pajo, meet at center stage to take a bow. A standing ovation greets the band in celebration of nearly 2 hours of subtly shifting glacial heaviness. Focusing primarily on the recently released Life Metal album, a couple of choice cuts from the band's extensive discography rise and fall amongst the maelstrom, while David Pajo's jangling guitar intercedes on occasion as the band seeks drone nirvana. Upon the band's exit, the crowd slowly follows the dissipating fog into the night, harder of hearing and probably an inch or two shorter, having felt and experienced the intense gravitational heft of the mighty masters of drone, Sunn O.